The U.S., ladies, they got the job done. A 1-0 win in extra time thanks to a Sophia Smith goal. And the U.S. is going to their 5th Olympic gold medal match. Their first time heading back to this game since 2012. So thank you, everyone, for joining us live on YouTube. If you're here, thank you. Like this video, subscribe to our channel because we're going live again on Saturday following the gold medal match. And so join the conversation in the chat. We've got comments, we've got thoughts, we've got conversations happening there, and we want to hear from you. Darian, if you're looking at the chat right now, do you see anything that people are talking about that's grabbing your attention, or what do you want to hear from the people on YouTube?
Xavier squared, we'll call them. Nair with the foot of God. I thought that actually made me chuckle. So accurate. I can't wait to see a still of that save. I did think the players were offside on Germany, but
So too.
I thought it was an incredible save. The starfish, she kept the US in the game if they weren't, but she's such a leader on this team. It's fun to see her get action finally.
Some tournaments it's a millimeter that breaks your heart, and then sometimes it's your tippy toes that breaks the hearts of others. I loved it. It was incredible.
Hit that like button, Dolphin 5413. You are talking about it in the chat, so thank you so much. The Rumble Wagon, you say, hey, at least we can rest for 3 days now. Can we though? Can we though? Because we still have the second semifinal coming up, Spain versus Brazil. That match starts at 3 o'clock, so in about 20 minutes. Sandra, who do you have, Brazil or Spain? Who's gonna win?
Look, my heart desperately wants to see the return of Martha against the United States for a gold medal. I love all those storylines and high drama. But I think my brain is telling me got to keep it locked in on Spain. They look ready too.
I agree. That's who I think. I don't know if Brazil, especially without Marta, can handle Spain's attack. Yeah, and I really want to see the matchup of Spain, how many players they get into the box, which Germany lacked. They created the 1v1s wide, got service, but there was no one getting on the end of it. Spain will do that. I want to see the US rise to that occasion and see that challenge. What about you, Lisa?
We'll see. I think Spain is going to get the job done over Brazil. We'll see, though. That's the other semifinal happening at 3 o'clock, but we're talking USA, Germany, a full recap. Hey everyone, welcome into Attacking Third for a special edition live recap of the U.S. Women's National Team semifinal against Germany in the 2024 Paris Olympics. USA gets the 1-0 win to advance to a gold medal match for the first time since 2012 in the Olympics. The U.S. are fighting for their 5th Olympic gold medal, and Emma Hayes remains undefeated as the U.S. Women's National Team head coach alongside Darian Jenkins and Sandra Herrera. I'm Lisa Carlin. Took 95 minutes into the extra time, but Sophia Smith is the girl of all girls. She gets it done for the U.S. Initial reactions from this match, Sandra. What were your emotions? What were you feeling? And now that it's all done, what are you thinking about it?
Sometimes the sequel is better. I mean, that's what this game was giving for me. Look, you knew that Germany was going to make those adjustments. They even had their hand forced a little bit with some players unavailable, but I like that they came out to play. They said this is going to be for a potential spot in a gold medal match, and I like that they came with that response. And I also like that the United States were also equally prepared for that as well. They weren't shying away from trying to get their own looks, but as they weren't converting, I got a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie, and I was like, oh no, like they can't let Germany get into halftime 0-0, and that's what happened. And my nerves just skyrocketed after that, honestly.
Going into this, I was really looking forward to seeing how Germany was going to switch up their tactics. Last game clearly didn't work. They weren't able to shut down the US, and I think Germany's biggest strength is that midfield block, how they can affect the game, how they can break up US's play, and I think they really did. They came out pressing similar to how the US does in this kind of modified 4-4-2, and especially in the second half, as soon as they saw Emily Sonnet come in, every time they were pressing, it went to Sonnet's left foot. Anytime the ball was over there, she had to shift her body positioning. That's where they went, and I thought it worked out for them. they just ran out of gas going into the final third. They didn't have it in them. And the US, the tenacity, the commitment, love seeing it. I can't wait to see this final and who we got.
You sound proud, Darian,
I
that the US
do.
got the job done.
I do. I am. I'm like a proud stepsister.
Sister? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Big sis.
I don't
Well,
know
we
how to relate to this familial way, but we'll say stepsister.
sister. You're not a mom yet. No way.
No,
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 no.
I don't want
Well,
that.
Sandra, we know you're feeling it too because you're back in your gold beret. You've strayed away from the black one. So thank goodness because it proved to be some good juju. The U.S. is going back to this gold medal match, and against Germany, there were moments of really good soccer. Like this game for a neutral, I think was really entertaining and fun to watch, although at times stressful for those of us cheering for the United States, which is a lot of people joining us live and watching this. But it's a testament to the fight of the United States and the tactics of Emma Hayes that they were able to grind through another 120-minute match and ultimately get the win. Let's talk about from the very beginning, because immediately, an hour before kickoff, we get news out of Germany's camp and news out of Emma Hayes' camp about injuries and players that are involved. We'll start with the Germans because there were forced changes to the starting 11 for Germany because of injuries to Alex Popp and leading goal scorer Leah Schuler, both of them unavailable due to injury. Leah Schuler out with a patellar tendon inflammation in her left knee, and then an infection for Popp. So that forced some change. But for Germany, they were going to roll in a 4-4-2 in the back, Berger, and then defensively, Roch, Hedring, Hendrick, Gvin. No changes there. In the midfield, a bit of change, though, with Buell, Minge, Lohman, and Brand, and then Nicole Ayumi and Newskin up top. So Nicole Ayumi slotting in the front line for Schuler, taking on some of the offensive pressure. I want to talk a little bit about Germany's starting lineup because without Lena Oberdorf this tournament, they've already had to be forced into changes, dropping Alex Popp lower. Darian, without Popp and without Schuler, how much does that change what Germany wants to do in their attack?
I think it changed everything in the final third. There wasn't the same bite, the same sort of threat. I honestly never felt worried when Germany did get into that wing space on the outside backs of Dunn and Fox, and then Neiswanger later in the game, where they were getting service because there just wasn't anyone. They weren't able to connect. They weren't able to pick somebody out. There wasn't a late runner crashing the box. And I think that's where we saw these heavy hitters, Schuler and Popp and Oberdorf, really affect Germany. But defensively, I thought Germany looked solid in the middle of the park. They were able to combine and break pressure when they switched the ball one or two times against the US. That's when they had a lot of success, but they just ran out of steam. There wasn't the energy, the same threat going forward with these big players, and they're going to be remiss not having them. This is just the nature of the tournament. You don't have any time to recover. You get a small knock, you're out for a game. We've seen it with the US. US able to overcome. But I really wanted to see the US play a full strength Germany, but we'll get it. We'll get it in another tournament. I have faith.
Fifth game in 12 days for both of these sides, and both Germany and United States going into extra time in the quarterfinals. Germany actually taking it all the way to penalties before they beat Canada. But that's why perhaps we're seeing some of these nagging injuries. However, for the United States, it was all positive news coming out of camp because we got to see the return of Tierna Davidson in the back line. She was out for the previous two matches for the United States, dealing with a leg contusion and also following her suspension in the quarterfinals. Midfielder Sam Coffey back in the lineup. So it was the exact same lineup for Emma Hayes that we saw in match day 2 of the group stage against Germany. Alyssa Nair in the back, Crystal Dunn, Tierna Davidson, Naomi Germa, Emily Fox in the midfield, Sam Coffey, Lindsay Horan, and Rose Lavelle, with Swanson, Smith, and Rodman up top. Sandra, how much were your nerves calmed seeing Davidson and Coffey both back in the lineup?
I mean, this was it, right? This is the preferred starting 11 for Emma Hayes. These are the players that you wanted to utilize throughout the Olympic Games. I will say, listen, a knee contusion maybe sounds easy to play through, but I'm sure it is not. And obviously, the substitution for Davidson within the opening half, I think maybe alludes to that. Maybe how the swelling is kind of affecting her as a player for now. But still, to start the game, you want to have your preferred 11, and that's what Hayes went with. And I think two completely different kind of knockout round games from what we saw against Japan versus Germany today. When you have a player like Sam Coffey back in the mix and available for your team, I thought she had one of her better games of the tournament in this one. I've said that I wanted to maybe see some better defensive recognition from Coffey, and absolutely she brought it today. I think she also did a very good job in connecting passes and finding those open lanes to connect with forwards. So I think having your A team is the way you want to start off a game. But things definitely got interesting over the course of the game, whether it was through substitution windows or honestly even some of the tactics that Emma Hayes was presenting for this team. I think we saw a ton of different formations throughout this game alone. So good on them to kind of respond to them and get through it.
Starting 11 for you, Darian, what stuck out?
Well, Coffee back was massive. Davidson coming out at half was Davidson starting and having to come out at half was really a bizarre choice to me. I don't get it. I think if you were going to use Davidson, why didn't we see more service from her into the 18? Why didn't we see those long balls that we talked about last game were so important that could have brought Japan down earlier, I think, in the match and could have actually affected Germany, asked a few more questions because she can put a ball on a dime. I think we saw it once in the 45 minutes, and then you're using one of your subs to take her out. Why don't you just save her leg, save her knee, give her the rest, place Emily Sonnet or Casey Kruger, however she was going to adjust going into this match, who were perfectly healthy from our eyes, and let her rest. I don't think that she was used in a way that actually makes sense to play her only for 45 minutes as a center back and one of your very few subs going into this match. It really didn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, I think that she should have been used more effectively sending balls in that first half.
Especially when you start a player like Davidson in a knockout match, you don't know how long the game is going to go, right? We could get 120 minutes, and if you're only using her for 45 minutes, well, it's almost not worth it at that point. Like it depends on the rotation and the structure, and you can always hope to be up a goal by the 90th minute, but you don't know how this is going to go. No one can predict it.